All right, to the people who are watching this as a video, which is maybe Dustin and Cameron and Aiden, or somebody who got confused about this, we've already started. We got the example here and the beginning of directions here. So we're going to keep going. Pause the video if you need to. So the second step is, so first thing it says, solve for a variable in one equation. Do you see how this one already says y equals? So this problem is actually done, so I'm just going to write number 1 right next to that, y equals 1. Sometimes it's not already solved for a variable, so you have to change it first. Number 2, you plug the stuff, don't you like my word? Stuff, the variable equals, into the other equation. Yep, Abby?
Can I text my mom and have her bring me some Tylenol?
Yes. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. When I say stuff, the variable equals, that is this. You see how y equals that stuff? So now we're going to put that stuff in for this y. Why do you think I chose to put this stuff in for y and not this stuff in for x? Because x is in there, that's true, but yeah?
Because it equals y.
It says y equals, right? So that's why this is called substitution. I'm substituting that stuff into the place of y. All right? So I'm going to rewrite this equation, this top equation, only instead of y, I'm going to write parentheses 4x plus 11 parentheses equals negative 7. So it's like I wrote that top equation, but instead of y, I wrote all of that junk instead. Anybody see what the advantage of this is now? How did I make it better than it was before?
We already know what y is.
No, we don't know what y is. I mean, we know that y is this stuff, but we don't know what y is. Jake? It is one equation instead of two, but there's also something else that's important about it. Sarah?
We're able to solve it now?
Yes. You see how there's only x's now? We know how to solve this now. If it had an x and a y in it, we couldn't solve it. But since we substituted in, now we only have x's left. So the next thing you do, you know what? I'm going to write a little extra note here. I'm going to write, if you do it right, you should have one variable left. So if you do this correctly, you'll only have x's left or possibly only have y's left, because you can also do it the other way if you want to. It doesn't matter which one you solve first. All right, step 3 is to solve for the variable. Why do you guys think I'm saying variable instead of x? Because sometimes you might solve for y and first, right, instead of x. All right. Now, what I'm going to do for this one when I solve it, everybody look up because I think this is an easy thing to miss. You see how I have to subtract all of this? So to make that easier on myself, I'm just going to act like it's a negative 1 there, and I'm going to distribute that to both so I don't have to think about making sure I subtract every time and all that. So this becomes 3x plus a negative 4x plus a negative 11 equals negative 7. Could you have minuses there instead of plus a negative? Sure, but plus a negative seems to work a lot better for this class. 3x minus 4x, or 3x plus a negative 4x, is negative 1x. And then what? No, you add 11, don't add a negative 11, because right now it's already a negative 11. So to get rid of the negative 11, we got to add 11, which might be what you meant, but not what you said. Negative 7 plus 11, what's that? 4. And then how do you get rid of that negative 1 in front of the x? Divide by negative 1. Anybody in their head right now? Go, and then you switch the sign. Oh, this isn't that. Yeah? Great, now we have x. Awesome. So, but the problem is that, remember, when we're solving these, it's like two lines crossing, right? And our answer is going to look like an x, y point, so we need the y too. So, how do you think you find the y? Yeah? Sure. It doesn't matter which one you use. You can use the top one or the bottom one. But you plug the answer we just found into one of the original equations. And solve for the other variable. Okay, now mathematicians are what? Lazy, which means that we pick the easiest equation to do. So it will work with either one. You can plug it into the top one, it'll work. You can plug it into the bottom one, it'll work. What would you prefer? The top one? Okay. So if you prefer the top one, plug it into the top one. If you prefer the bottom one, plug it into the bottom one. 3 times negative 4 instead of x. How do I know that I'm plugging in negative 4 for x and not y? It says x is negative 4 right there. Okay? Minus y equals negative 7. That's negative 12 minus y equals negative 7. How do I get rid of that negative 12? Add 12 to both sides. That makes negative y equals 5. How do I get rid of that negative by the y? Yeah? Divide by negative 1. You could also multiply by negative 1. Either one would work. Y equals, I got negative 5. You get negative 5? Okay. But that's not what my answer should look like. What should my answer look like? What did our answer look like when we were drawing the lines with a graph? Riley? It looks like a point, yeah. So write your answer as a point. So for my final thing, I'm going to write parentheses, negative 4, negative 5, parentheses. And that's really my final answer. Pretty sure this is not something that Mrs. Sicking taught you. You never got to this. I don't think you would have. All right, so we're going to try again.